Welcome, everyone, to the Driven G Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle G, and with me is Host of Media Gaming. We record this podcast live every third Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can also become a member of this podcast, get extra podcast content every month. And a quick reminder, you can also like this podcast if you're watching on YouTube. We'd appreciate if you gave this podcast a like because it helps us in the good graces of the YouTube algorithm. And we are exactly 89 subscribers away from hitting our 2024 goal of 1,000 subscribers. Just play that button. Play the button. I like when you play the button. Not that one. Hey, you play that one.
That's the one. Sorry.
You know which one I want.
I don't.
Da-da-da-da. You know, the Zelda one. You always play at the beginning when I say something positive. That one. Yes,
I was
guys,
on a different page. Sorry.
Please make sure to leave a like because it helps us out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year to be YouTube partners. We're very close to being YouTube partners, and that's like the last hurdle we need to jump through. So really appreciate that. Drip, how you doing, man? Zelda episode, baby. Zelda episode.
Yes. There you go. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? How about this?
Yes, it is October. It smells like October. I got my spooky, scary skeleton candle running in the back. It smells like pumpkins.
I got a pumpkin. I got a pumpkin
too. It's down the floor. I got to figure out how to get that thing lit up. But yeah, we're ready for Halloween, man. Got a few more days left here for Halloween. But Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Jeeb, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I've been playing a lot of Echoes of Wisdom, as would be obvious to state, since we're doing a whole episode of this. Episode is going to be a little bit. It's going to be like a review. Of course, it's going to be spoiler free. We're not going to reveal anything spoiler wise. So if you're afraid about that, don't worry. No Echoes of Wisdom spoilers. Drip and I not finished either. I'm actually much farther than Drip, so I mean I have things to spoil for him even, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not that far. I'm still I'm headed to the third dungeon now.
Yeah, this is going to be early game review. Because we haven't played the whole thing yet. And also, it's just too early to do our spoiler review. I understand why reviews need to come out so people can make their decisions on games. I get that. It's just too early to review games. Even if you've played through the whole game, it's kind of hard to make a review of a game within the first week or so. Like, let's say you did get the game early, like a reviewer did, and beat it in a week. That's not enough time to digest. It takes more time to really get a good review out there. Like a true review.
Especially if you're like a Zelda person, like if you really enjoy this series, you really want to spend your time with it. And, you can put a technical review out like, okay, this is what I thought of you, how it performed, how it ran, all that stuff. I mean, you could do that, but games like this, I don't know. You're right. Because think about like Tears of the Kingdom. We were ready to give it best game of all time when we were, in the moment.
Right.
But, you look at it now and it's like, yeah, the game was good. It was very good, but might not even be technically, better than Breath of the Wild, is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question we'll have to answer. And we're actually going to answer it in a second because there's an article that Drip and I, we brought to our attention here from the Rolling Stones. That's a top 18 list. I'm guessing that's all the games. All-time Zelda list ranking that we want to go over from the Rolling Stones. There's some things that are correct about it, and there's a lot that is terrible wrong about it.
Garbage list, G.
Yeah, it's a garbage list. But do you know it's not garbage, Drip? Do you know what's not garbage?
What?
Our sponsor of today's episode, MobilePad. Drip, you and I have both tried a bunch of third-party Joy-Cons. I think we both can say the MobilePad M6 HDs are the best that we've ever used, hands down. From the mechanical buttons to HD rumble, amiibo support, they aren't lacking any features. None. They got it all. And that goes for MobilePad's other products, like the MobilePad Chai 2, a Pro Controller alternative, the MobilePad Nintendo Switch dock, and the MobilePad M6S, a cheaper alternative to the MobilePad M6 HDs. And they got much more on their website. Drip, I can't think of one MobilePad product that isn't quality.
No, they're all great. It's the only thing I use on my Switch now. It's what I'm playing Echoes of Wisdom with. I'm playing with the black pair, actually. You can get them in white. You can also get them in pink. They have different face plates. They got blue. You can get pink face plates, whatever colors you want. They're great. These are by far my favorite Joy-Cons. Like I said, the only ones I use at this point.
Yeah, they got sales running right now as well. You guys can check out their sales that they got going on. Lots of bundles. You guys can take advantage of their products. as well as check out their Facebook as well. Those links are down below. Check out their Facebook. Follow them on Facebook. Sometimes they leak Switch 2 information. You got to check them out. You got to see what's going on over there. But thank you for Mopad for sponsoring today's episode. Drip. Let's go over this ridiculous.
It's terrible. Okay, let's just be real.
Before we get to Agnes Wisdom,
list is stupid.
Let's go over this list.
Let's just ask the obvious question here. Has anybody at Rolling Stone actually played any of these games?
That's a great question.
Because, okay, I just want to go down the list here. We'll start at 19. Triforce Heroes. That's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you can debate because then 18 is Four Swords. You can debate which one is worse or better than the other. But yeah, those two, as far as Zelda games go, not the best ones.
I mean, Triforce Heroes is pretty bad. Spirit Tracks, I didn't play it, but it's a fine game. There's nothing, it's not bad. Phantom Hourglass, same. They're both sequels to Wind Waker.
Yep.
I mean, back here, it's like, I'm not that mad. But then we get to number 15. They got Skyward Sword. The beginning of all the Zelda games, the beginning of this, not the first Zelda game, it came out in 2011, but the very first piece of lore, which according to some people doesn't matter. But this is it. This is the whole story.
What are you talking about?
It's just some people. Some people. Yeah. So, dude, 15?
Yeah, 15 is bad. It's bad.
15.
That's bad, okay? And it's bad on a couple different levels, but mainly it's bad because there's so many games in front of it that shouldn't be in front of it. And here's the thing. You and I have not read.
Oh my God.
We have not read the description of why these games are where they're at. Maybe it would make more sense if we did, but I'm telling you, it's probably because of the waggle. Oh, I'm on the wrong scene right now. I'm on the pre-show scene. Sorry, guys, for the recorded episode. But yeah, the waggle is a big issue.
Who cares?
Listen, I care because I would have never played this game when it came out because of the waggle. I do not like the waggle. I can understand why it would be towards the bottom of a top list of Zelda games because of the waggle. So if you put Skyward Sword HD instead, just replace the original and have the HD version on there, I think it should be much higher. But honestly, 15, it's low, but not too far off where it should be. It should be in the top 10. It should be in the top 10.
Yes, it should. Well, the next one's Minish Cap. That should be
That's
higher.
a crime. That's a crime.
That should be higher too. I don't want to stay on that. That obviously it should be higher.
Yes.
The next one. This is it's like, what the actual fuck is happening here? So Zelda 2, the obvious worst Zelda game ever, is at 13, above Skyward Sword and above Minish Cap. Like, I can see maybe some people like, I didn't like Skyward Sword. Like you said, I don't like the waggle, this and that. Minish Cap? There's nothing wrong with Minish Cap. Zelda 2 sucks.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's very difficult. So it's got that going for it. If you like difficult games, you try that one. If you like difficult games from the 80s, you should try that one. But otherwise, maybe stay away from it. That artwork alone. I know you guys, if you're listening, you can't see the artwork, but I mean, come on, man. Like Nintendo. What is this? This looks like this is the era of Nintendo when they were doing the CDI cartridges or the Philips machine.
Come on.
Like what are we? It's the artwork of the game it tells you right away what kind of game this is. It's not good.
Well, I mean, the original one kind of had the same style artwork
a little
too.
Bit, yeah, a little bit. But I mean, come on, it was the early '80s. We give it a pass. But mid '80s. But either way, I'm just trashing.
86, same as me.
I'm just trashing it, to be honest. It's not a good game. I've tried it. Not for me. Moving on.
That's terrible. Okay, this
should be higher
too.
This next one, number 12, hurts my soul.
This should be higher. This should be way higher.
12 for A Link Between Worlds.
I just put those, and I feel like I put that one and Link to the Past just as one. I like the map. I don't want either of them to not be in my top 5, so they just go as one entry at number 5 for me. 12's crazy. 12's absolutely nuts. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons at 11. I mean, that's probably fair. Probably.
There's probably a lot of shifting needs to go around it, in front of it and below it. But as far as like where it's at specifically, that's probably a good spot for it.
Yeah. Now this is the true crime of the entire list.
We need a sad
Twilight
song
Princess,
right
clearly the best Zelda game ever made. Clearly.
Yeah.
At 10. Who are these people? Who the fuck wrote this list?
It's the best story for a Zelda game, hands down.
Absolutely.
Not the best Zelda game, but it's the best story. And 10 is low. It should
10
be
is
moved,
low.
It needs to be moved up higher, much higher.
Yes, 10 is way low. It should be number 1, but
no, it should.
Moving on.
Number 9. This is crazy. The game just came out. I mean, Drip and I just talked about this in the pre-show. It's really hard to review a game this early in its development, even if you or in its life, even if you've played through the whole thing. It's very hard to review a game. You need some time to sit with it and really kind of digest a bit. The fact that it's already at number 9 is crazy. Echoes of Wisdom should not be number 9 yet. Maybe it might end up there, but
I don't know.
It just seems a little bit crazy to put that there, especially above Link Between Worlds already.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the full game. I haven't played the full game.
Right. I might agree with you. I actually think I might agree with this person for Echoes of Wisdom being better than Link Between Worlds, but I'm not there yet, and they shouldn't be either, to put it there. Number 8, the OG.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that either. It's fine. Like, I understand that that's where it started, and that's like the building blocks of everything. That's how Breath of the Wild came about. It's based off of this game. But
it might be in the right spot, give or take a few spots. Just other things around it need to change. I think this might be a fair number 10. I think this might be
okay. You could do that.
And then you could shift things
that.
around it, but
Majora's Mask is 7.
I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like Majora's Mask.
A lot of people love Majora's Mask.
It's high. It's high for 7 is high. I think that's a good solid. It's not much though. I'm not saying drop it all the way down.
A lot of people love it though.
It's a top 10 game. We'll say that. It's a top 10 game. 7 might be high. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Link's Awakening. It's a little high, but
it's in the right ballpark.
It's good. I love that game. Yeah, I love that game.
This is where the list starts getting in the right ballpark. Because then 5 is Ocarina of Time in the ballpark.
Which is probably my 4 or 5. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Then we got number 4,
Link to the Past. My 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
I need to finish it. It's a great game. Number 3, Wind Waker. It's a great game. I think it's high. I love Wind Waker. I think it's high.
Wind Waker is probably my number 2 or 3. So I feel like that's correct.
I would put that in my 5 or 6. That's kind of where that would be.
That's my 2 or 3. Probably my 3. 3.
As far as games I've played and finished of Zelda wise, it's definitely 2 or 3. But yeah I mean, no, it's no, not a little high. 2 and 1 will just rip off the Band-Aid. 2 is Breath of the Wild. 1 is Tears of the Kingdom. And that I have a problem with. I really think Breath of the Wild should be in front of Tears of the Kingdom because of many reasons. Main reason being it is the first Zelda game outside of the original to be open world and choose your own adventure type. It is focused on exploration in a 3D space, which is incredible. It was an incredible feat of hardware for the Switch at the time, and it's only a few years in front of Tears of the Kingdom. It's not like it's an OG game, really. That's not an OG game. Tears of the Kingdom Tears of the Kingdom walked because Breath of the Wild ran. And that's the reason why Breath of the Wild should be in front of Tears of the Kingdom, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you because as hyped as we were for Tears of the Kingdom, and listen, like the hype up to that game was just so much fun. It was amazing. And playing it was great. I love the game. Absolutely love the game. But looking back and just putting the two together now, like I think I know I'm not alone in this. I just had a little bit of the Breath of the Wild fatigue.
Yes.
It's like once I beat Tears of the Kingdom, I was kind of done. Because I knew that Hyrule, it's like I just was kind of done. Because I had been in that world so long already. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It's a great game. It did awesome things, but I think at this point I'd probably put Breath of the Wild over Tears of the Kingdom, even though Tears of the Kingdom's story and dungeons are better.
And I'll finish with this, my thoughts. I think Tears of the Kingdom is a better video game than Breath of the Wild. There's more to it, more content. It's great, better story. It's great.
Yeah. Just timing.
But
I don't know.
It's timing. It's kind of like this too. Like, I like analogies. So like, imagine like a good classic hot dog, right? And no, don't mind the hot dog reference, but just food, a basic food item. I'm gonna use hot dog for an example. Just a nice hot dog with ketchup, mustard, and onions on top. A nice solid. I don't like relish. I put onions. So I know if you like relish, put relish on your hot dog. But either way, a nice simple hot dog. Okay, and then you go to Chicago, and then you get a pickle, and then you get the jardiniere, and then you get the whatchamacallit, the what do you call it?
The whatchamacallit.
All the extra seasonings and items on top of a hot dog. That's delicious too. It's like a salad on a hot dog, and I'm a kind of guy who likes to put salad on food, if you will, like a burger. I'll layer a bunch of different types of lettuces, cucumbers. I'll do the whole like Subway.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
I put a salad in my hoagie at Subway. Okay, that's what I do. And
it's a sub, not a hoagie.
And I'm not shut up. And I'm not trashing the Chicago dog by any means. Just like I'm not trashing Tears of the Kingdom. I love a Chicago hot dog, and I love Tears of the Kingdom.
What about a Fairmont hot dog, huh?
Oh
with
my
hot dog
God!
Sauce. How about a Fairmont, West Virginia hot dog, huh?
As much as I love a Chicago hot dog, you go to Fairmont, and you get the hot dog sauce on a hot dog, and it's simple, it's spicy, and it's absolutely delicious, and it has like 15 less ingredients than the Chicago dog, and that is Breath of the Wild. There's 15 less ingredients to it, but for some reason, it just hits better.
I don't disagree. Yeah. I think, listen, again, I should have made a reaction video to this list like I did that other one, because this list is garbage. This is a shit list.
Yeah.
They've got the top like 5, 6 kind of in the area, but the rest of it is like, what the fuck? Like, have you played a Zelda game? Get the hell out of here.
Well, Drip, I will be posting this on the podcast feed as a video tomorrow, so I'm going to get this up tomorrow.
Cool.
So this is the end of that video. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like.
Maybe I'll put it on my channel too.
Maybe leave a like and subscribe. This is a part of a bigger, larger podcast that we record live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, not Thursdays, like I messed up in the intro. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And that's the thing I'm gonna do.
I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't know we were making a video.
I didn't know either. Till the middle of we do this every now and again. We make little clips and. I don't know. That just felt right. That felt right to do that right there.
Make the video. Do it. Give us the rage.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I got to finish Drip's video tomorrow. For his channel. That video will be going live for him tomorrow. But after that, I will finish. I'll get this one uploaded as well as a separate video for our podcast channel. So look forward to that tomorrow, guys. And for people listening to this show, that's up today. So go check it out after you done listening to the podcast episode. You can. Although if you just listen to it though, so maybe you don't need to watch it. Leave a like on it anyway. Just go and leave a like.
Moving on. Moving on.
Anywho, let's talk about something from our list that we made. And by we, I mean me. We have a giant list here of of like not a review, but kind of like an overview of our experience so far. An overview of our experience so far. But
up to this point.
That doesn't make it like a good title. So we kind of. What did I title this episode as? I titled it as a very early review of the Zelda Echoes
the Zelda of the Echoes of the Wisdom.
I was gonna say the Legend of Zelda, but I didn't. But yeah, the very early review. It's a very early review. Yes, it is. That is true. But it's really more of like an overview of our experiences thus far with the game, void of all spoilers. So don't worry about that. If you played any of the game, this won't be a spoiler to you. And if you haven't played any of the game and you don't want spoilers, just know that we're not going to go into any story spoilers or anything like that. It's going to ruin a surprise for you. You just may learn of certain things you didn't know were in the game already because trailers didn't show you that. So,
Jeeb, you know what is in this game that I am enjoying thoroughly so far?
And what is that?
Dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy these dungeons. I will say it's been a while since we've had old school style dungeons. These are good, and I've only been in 2 of them. The first one was pretty straightforward, basic. The second one wasn't difficult either, but it was like, I liked the way it was put together. It was nice. You know what I mean? You had to go outside a little bit, come back in. You had to move around, go in. Like, it was good. I liked it. It gave me a little bit of a challenge. It wasn't anything like too crazy.
Yeah.
But I did it on stream the other night. Now, there was a point where I didn't know what to do. But I really, really like having these old school style Zelda dungeons back.
You know what's funny too? I haven't had a single moment like that in a dungeon yet where I didn't know what to do. Maybe like one. I think maybe literally one. I played about 2 more dungeons than you. But literally there might be one instance where I'm in a room where I don't know what to do. Because and this game is catered toward me. Okay? I am a thinker. I sometimes too many thoughts. That's why I stutter and speak over myself, because there's so much bouncing around in my brain that I just can't say it all fast enough, and that's kind of how that works.
It's fair enough.
But in a dungeon, when there's only one answer and I have a million things bouncing in my head, it causes chaos in my head. But in this game, when there are multiple answers, I'm just spitting in my brain like, how would this work? How would this work? Could I use this? Could I use this? And I just try them all, and I very quickly figure it out. And there was times where in Abby's gameplay, she'd ask me, hey, can you help me with this? I can't figure this out. And it's something I already did. And I look at her screen, and I did that already. But the first conclusion that came in my head was a different conclusion than the one that I made myself previously in that same spot.
That's pretty interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Like there was one area where I didn't know what to do in the room, so I ended up making like bed stairs. But when I looked at her screen at the same room in the same place, I was like, oh, you just need to hold a bat and then fly on the geysers that spit up hot air. And it was like, it was just like, this was the first thing in my head. But then I'm like, why didn't I think of that for myself?
Yeah, I see Samantha in the chat is actually saying the mini dungeon with the cloud was fun. That's a early mini dungeon. No spoilers, really. You're not even gonna know which one it is. I was kind of messed up in there because I didn't know how to fight the boss. It took a while.
Yeah, I don't remember. We're not gonna get into that. But
yeah, we're not getting. But I'm saying, like, I tried multiple things. Lots of things were working.
Right.
But then I found one thing that I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
that works really well. That's what I'm gonna do. And then it was like, because I was in there for a while trying to figure out how to kill the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they've done this, and that's what you and I were talking about earlier. That's kind of what I want to kind of move into here. They have fixed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in this game.
How so?
They fixed it for the future. They've shown that they can do this open-ended physics, whatever mechanics, more than one way to do things, but yet still keep it in a compact, traditional style Zelda dungeon.
Yeah.
This game proves that. 2D or not, I don't care. I don't care if it's 2D, 3D. This proves you can have that type of stuff, open-ended, lots of ways to do things, and still have the traditional style dungeon. Yes. So if we don't get that back in the next Zelda game, I'm going to be pretty pissed off, because this is proof of concept right here. You can do it. You can have, multiple ways and still keep that old school style, because that's what this is. This is the old school style just blended with this new school Zelda style that, where it's more open-ended and more, just lots more things to try.
Let me explain it hopefully more simple than that. It's the same room that would have been, if this was a brand new original game for the old school Zelda games, it's the same exact dungeon room that would have been in those games. But the difference in this world is that in this world, you can solve this dungeon 15 different ways or more. Whereas in the old games, there was only one way you could do this particular thing. Yeah, well, and you have to figure out what that one way was, and that was a part of the fun for people. For me, that wasn't fun. So for this, in this context, where there are multiple ways to get it done, but it's still an original 2D Zelda dungeon with few exceptions, it's perfect. I love this is the perfect 2D Zelda game for me.
I want to go back to the chat again. Actually, Samantha just said again, a Link Between Worlds did that too, in my opinion. She's talking about kind of giving open, and I did, when we were talking earlier, I did mention that game as it kind of did it, because you could go into the wall and then kind of move in places and do things in a different direction like that. So that was kind of like the first. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit earlier, and I do agree.
Let me touch on that too.
But this is like that to another level.
Yes, and I want to touch on that too, because I think A Link Between Worlds, one of the issues with it is that it's a little bit easy. And the dungeons are a little bit easy too. I wouldn't call this game, Echo's Wisdom, I wouldn't call it very easy.
Have you died a lot?
No, I've died once.
Oh God, I've died a ton.
I think one time I died and I had a fairy and it was fine. But it was very early game. This game's not hard to me. But that's the thing. For someone like me, this game is made for me. Okay, the multiple ways to solve things is made for me because I'm just a problem solver. But like maybe getting the best answer is very hard to do. But finding the third best or fifth best, I can find that pretty quickly. So,
but also as a Zelda player, you started with Breath of the Wild.
Yes, I did.
And Tears of the Kingdom. Not Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild, that's what they throw you into. That's like, when it comes to Zelda games, this is like what you're used to doing.
A shrine in Breath of the Wild, there's a handful of ways to do it. Not just one, not too many, but there's a handful of ways usually. In Tears of the Kingdom, there's a buttload of ways. They usually tell you to do it one particular way, but you could probably do a different way if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And this game takes that and does it on steroids and gives you all of the tools necessary to complete a dungeon the way you want.
And I really do like that. And like I said, I'm not far. I didn't get to play over the weekend a lot. I had a lot of stuff going on. I played a little bit today. I streamed last night. I will play probably again tomorrow night, maybe streaming. I don't know. Gee, if you want to hop on with me for that, you're way ahead of me now. You can chill.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll see about that for sure.
Okay. We'll get into that. But I mean, so far I'm loving it. Like the dungeons are something that I'm very, very happy with, and I mean, that's what I've been screaming about for a while. Just give me dungeons. Just give me real dungeons.
Yeah. And let's just quickly do the quickest of quick touches here on smoothies. I've seen some people be negative about them. I've seen some people be positive about them. And for me, the way I look at it is they're in the game. I think it's not hindering my experience by it being there.
They are what they are.
The only thing I find useful smoothies is to restore my gauge.
Sword fighter?
Yeah, sword fighter mode. It gives you the status effect of giving you more sword fighter ability. And
that's basically what I've used.
That is the only thing I use smoothie for is outside of selling them for money. But I'm at a point now where I've got so much. I have about 800, 900. Actually, I think I have 900 rupees, and I've not used a single gold meg. I have like 10 gold megs, and those are worth 150 each.
I know I ate.
So
mine.
I have like another 2,500 rupees if I want.
I ate mine last night during a boss battle. I think I was desperate, dude. I didn't want to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was like
obviously restoring health is important, but at the same time, eating a meal in this game is not nearly as important as like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. That's crucial. You have to make meals to survive in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. In this game, you don't have to. You just need to be in a safe spot for a minute. You plop down a bed and you sleep in it.
Yeah.
And you heal all your hearts anywhere you are,
that is
including
nice.
a dungeon. So it's incredible. I love
did it in that boss battle with that freaking cloud, wherever that was. And again, that's not a main boss. It's a random mini dungeon. Yeah. But I would hide. Yeah.
Well, Drip, since you brought it up, let's talk about some of these random mini dungeons because, again, we won't get into specifics, but there is lots of dungeons in this game. There are the main story dungeons, of course. There are also like small dungeons, mini dungeons, if you will, that you just kind of find, which is cool. And they come in the way of rifts a lot of the time. So if you find a small rift somewhere in the world exploring, you usually sometimes there'll be like a thing, like a prompt for try to, and she'll be like, "Hey, come touch this," and then you touch it, and she opens up a rift that you can jump in. And at that point,
sometimes you can't get in them, but I haven't actually come to any of the ones where you could just randomly hop in. All the ones I go to at this point are like either part of the story where you have to go do something as the story is going, or they're small and you just basically walk up to them and they don't do shit.
Those rifts I'm talking about, those like the mini dungeons, if you will, a lot of those are basically platforming levels. It's basically turns the game into a 3D platformer.
Well, that's kind of the still world stuff I did in the story because I did the desert. There's some stuff you I'm not going to go into detail, but that's basically what those areas are. Find your way up the side of something, get over here, do this, find this thing, go around, but you have to build your own way there.
Yeah. So it's in Skyward Sword, it's in Twilight Princess. You have to collect spirits. What are they called? You have to fill up that tree.
These are whatever these are. Yeah,
it's the same.
Okay, in Twilight Princess, it's the tears, right?
Right.
The
Skyward
tears
Sword,
of
what is it in
light or
Skyward
whatever.
Sword? I think it's light spear. I don't know, but if you guys have played those games, you know what we're talking about here. That's what this still world. A lot of these still world mini dungeons are. You have to what basically
Collect a thing. You're collecting a thing.
Try's friends are stuck in this rift, and you have to save them. And to save them, you have to 3D platform in the still world, which is really cool. I get to play a Zelda game like this, where there's as much 3D platforming.
It's not 3D. It's 2D.
It is 3D though. It's
kind
not,
of.
It's not 2D because it's on a four-way.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right. It's like
movement.
It's like Mario 3D World.
Yes, it is. It is like Mario 3D World.
It's very similar. Only you can't move the camera really, but it's like that.
Yeah.
And you have to build your own platforms also. That's another thing.
There are 2D elements in Echoes of Wisdom, which we won't really touch that much, but we can do right now. There are a couple, like if you guys play the Link's Awakening remake, where you hop into an area where suddenly the game goes 2D, right? Where it goes side-scrolling, if you will.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
There is that in this game as well.
There's a lot
and
more.
That's not what we're talking about.
There's a lot more of that stuff than was in Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, actually, which I'm fine with.
I know people say that 3D World is a 2D 3D or 2.5D. It's a 3D game. It's just not the same kind of 3D game as
it's just more linear and locked down. That's all.
It's not the same kind of 3D as Odyssey, but it is still 3D. Okay.
Yeah.
And in this area, the still world, it is 3D. It's just the one thing is you just can't move the camera anywhere you want. There's no free camera, but you're moving on a left, right, up, down, sideways plane. It's a full 3D map in the still world and in the overworld. So, but yeah, that's really cool. I just find the 3D platforming really interesting, and I love it. And like you said a second ago, it's build your own platforming. It's not set up the way it is, and you have to solve it. It's set up in a very barren way that's impossible to do until you set your own path with your own items.
Yeah, or just use 100 beds.
yeah. Any way you want. It's whatever you want to do. If you're lacking time and you just want to use one of those flying tiles.
Use 100 beds.
If you just want to
the flying tiles. Yeah, that's a good one too.
The
fact that you can just use those as an item is so cool.
I just got that one today. I've not seen one in the game, and the one that I did see, I didn't realize that you could make it an echo. So actually, Mrs. G was like, "You didn't get the tile yet?" I'm like, "No," but I found it today. I went back to Gerudo. I did find one.
But cool. There's somebody who wants to talk to you about one of those in there. Look around.
Oh, that's right. You're correct. Yeah, I gotta go back there.
Make sure you do
I'm
that.
literally still like at that place where I got it. So I got.
And that's another thing we can touch on really quick. That's something that I actually they don't have very good rewards. Some of the more difficult ones do. But like the side quests are pretty fun. They're small little things. Like whenever you talk to a person, they're just little nuggets. Yeah. But I've done like all the ones that were in the Gerudo Desert. I think I did every one of them.
Yeah, this is not a Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom side quest where it could literally take you a couple hours of gameplay. Not that that's not fun. I do find that fun. But this is like a bite-sized Zelda.
These are just little nuggets. Yeah, just little nuggets.
Bite-sized Zelda game. It's wonderful. It's like it's little dopamine hits of Zelda all over this game, and I love it.
And you know damn well. I mean, God, my ADHD fucking loves that.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Let's talk about the mechanics. We talked about the tiles. We talked about some other things, echoes. Let's talk about the mechanics in general. The tri-rod. It is really useful. The tri-rod, this is not
obviously.
It's it's the only way you can play the game, really. It is just spawning echoes with your tri-rod. And
how do you feel about it? Like
so this is interesting, Drip. You and I will do a full review later. Once we both beat the game, we will record that episode for members. So if you're not a member, please become one. We're going to do a full spoiler-filled review in like multiple weeks when both of us have finished the game, and most of you guys have already finished the game as well. We're going to do a full review, so make sure to stay tuned to the members feed. But yeah, remember early on when I was very, very skeptical of the combat, and I didn't like the fact that the tri-rod was like the only thing you got? I'm assuming you remember that?
Yeah.
And
yes.
I have completely shifted my tune. I love the tri-rod.
I like
love
it too.
The implementation of it, how it's the only thing you can do, because that is the game. That's a puzzle of itself, is the fact that you don't have a sword to swing around. Even for enemies, you don't. So you have to figure out how to play a Zelda game without a sword. And I love that. And they've done it in such a good way. They've made the echoes, whether you're using an item like a bed or an enemy like a bokoblin or whatever they're called, I forget. No matter what you're using, they've made it in a way that it's simple to understand how they work, and you can just kind of fix it. And they're unlimited supply until you run out of what are they called? Triangles.
Triangles.
But yeah, like if you place one and you've messed up, you just call it back and start again. Like it's not complicated. It's not a complicated process.
Yeah, and you don't even really have to call it back. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah,
like
too.
if you just run out, the last one you did just disappears, which I do like, because that would have pissed me off if I'd have been like, oh, never mind, you're out. Like,
we talked about this. Go ahead. Sorry.
It kind of makes me angry whenever I have a stack of something and then I realize, oh, that bottom one's gone because I just made another one on top. But yeah, you just got to think about it.
Yeah, and like you just said, we did talk about this in the members show the other night. We did a quick little thing about Echoes of Wisdom. It is. I wish that mechanic was a little bit different. How you could how it's used. How if like you could remove a specific item more easily, or like remove the last item that you put and not just all of them. You know, I wish they changed that mechanic a bit. But I'm grasping at straws. It's fine. It's fine. As long as you learn how to play with it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, something neither of us knew. It's not try-run related. It's gameplay related. The spin.
Dude. Fuck the roll.
Fuck
Who needs the roll?
You don't need the roll anymore.
When you got the spin.
The spin.
It's great. Dude, it's so good.
I have never experienced more satisfying gameplay in my life.
Man, cutting
than
grass,
rolling
bushes,
through a field
flowers.
of grass with the spin.
I mean, you're like a human lawnmower. It's amazing. It's great. Man,
One complaint, I wish the spin did like a half a heart. You know, I wish the spin could do like a half a heart
damage. Yeah, I mean, it would be convenient, but
I'll take a quarter heart. Any damage I would have taken just to like an enemy needs one more hit and your bat's being really stupid and you want your bat just to go hit the freaking thing and the bat's not playing around with you. So it's like, I wish I could just spin. And yes, you could get your sword out, but that's a expensive commodity right there. Your energy
especially
gauge
in the
for your
early
sword,
game.
You don't want to waste it early game especially. So yeah, I wish the spin just did.
And I will say this, because I know a lot of people are mad because it's like, oh, you have to go down to the still world to recharge your sword. You don't.
You do not. That is what the cooking is for.
Yeah, you can either cook stuff that'll bring it back when you drink it, or smoothies will do it, or you can go buy a potion and just drink the blue potion and it brings it back. Yeah. So there's lots of ways to do it.
That is one thing I thought before we got this game, I thought was gonna be a problem. Getting energy for your Master Sword mode.
There's plenty of it. There's plenty. If you really like it, you can keep it on you and use it a good bit.
Yeah, and in the overworld, I actually think it's more fun to play the game without ever using it.
I barely use it unless I'm like really in a pinch.
I don't use it in dungeons either. I call
either.
out one of the heavy hitting enemies to do my bidding for me. And I spin to gain speed to get out of the way and just let my enemy do its thing. I think it's great. I have gone from thinking, oh no, what am I going to do without my sword, to I don't use my sword. I only use my swords in boss fights. And I almost spoiled something, I won't say it. Or other fights. And it's the only places I use my sword. I don't use it on regular enemies unless they're just like I said, if my bat or whatever enemy I'm using to call out to try to kill something, if they're not doing it in a timely manner and I'm getting frustrated, I'll just break out the sword, go one slash, and be done with it. But yeah.
I don't use it that often. Okay, speaking of echoes, what's your favorite one?
Ooh, my favorite echo. Now that I've gotten the water block, which you can see in the trailer.
I don't have that yet.
Now that I've gotten the water block, I
feel like I'm going to get it very soon.
I use it all the time. But I will still say, even still, the water block can't be used in certain places. But you know what can? It has 2 slots to stand on for platforming.
A bed. Bed.
The original bed. The other beds the other beds will give you more health, but not necessary for platforming and getting around the world. A regular bed is what I haven't touched the table since. I haven't touched.
barely use the
I've
table.
not touched a box since.
I don't use the box at
bed.
all. I use beds and trampolines.
I don't use trampolines.
They're good.
I just
They're
make
good.
bed stairs.
I do too. But I make a couple, and then it's like if I don't have room to make a big ass long bed stair,
Yeah,
you get two up there, and then a trampoline. You're good.
Pro tip: if at this point I have 5 triangles, whatever they're
Yeah, I
called.
only have 4.
So I do my
5 triangles.
Yeah. So I'd make my bed stairs, which is 5 stairs, and then I just turn on sword fighter mode that gives you extra jump ability.
Extra jump. Yeah,
So
you told me that the other day, and
makes
I was
up for
like,
the
God,
trampoline.
that's genius.
Yeah, so that's what I do. If 5 beds is not viable or it's not high enough, I just turn on the other mode, the sword fighter mode.
Yeah.
Quickly, I didn't write this down, but I want to talk about it. Little charm. I don't know what they're called. They're like charms that you wear. Early game
Yeah,
one
the accessories.
Accessories.
Little
The
accessories.
one that you wear is like a hairpin that drops hearts more frequently.
Yes. And then you can get
have you gotten one for jumping yet?
I have the
What do you got?
just early game ones, and I haven't got the second early game one. There's like
I'm technically early game still. I'm not ready.
I didn't get the flipper. That makes your swim speed go. I
you
haven't
gotta
got
buy
that
that
yet because
one.
I don't have enough money. It's 300, and I sold all my shit. I sold everything to get the slipper, so I didn't fall in the quicksand.
Yeah.
And that's again early game stuff. That's the first stuff you can possibly buy. I don't know what the rest is going to be.
There's one you're gonna get. I think it's gonna be in Zora, and this is not really a spoiler. Zelda doesn't jump very high. She jumps very short. You literally find that out the second you play as Zelda, because you play. I won't spoil that part. It's very early in the game. I don't want to spoil that, but you play as Zelda early in the game. Spoilers: you play as Zelda, and you find out she doesn't jump. She does jump, but not very high.
Zelda's not the guy in the green.
She's not the guy in the green.
Whoa.
You do jump in the game, as we knew, but you don't jump very high. And there's one of those things is one of those charms that you get is to be able to jump a little bit higher.
Oh man, I want that.
Oh yeah,
that would help.
That's 99% of the times what I'm rocking.
I was gonna say that's what I keep on. I don't care about the hearts. We got smoothies and shit for that.
You'll get a charm that allows you to jump a little higher. Spoilers.
Oh man,
I
can't wait for that. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, do this.
No, and then I haven't got any actual like outfits yet. I'm not there.
I'm
I don't know
there.
How far you
I am
have
there.
To, okay.
Let's talk about outfits, because I won't spoil anything. Trust me, I won't, because I know a few things you don't. There is one outfit. That's actually the first outfit you get. At least that's the first outfit I got. It's not the outfit you would think you'd get. You'd think you'd get like Zelda's regular tunic or whatever first. No, that was like the third thing I got.
Oh wow, you got that many.
Oh yeah, I've already got.
What dungeon are you at?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
I can tell you what I finished. I finished Zora's Domain, and I finished Gerudo.
Okay.
That's what I finished.
I'm working on
after you finish those two,
Zora's Domain.
Things are told to you.
Yeah. Like I said, I figured, and you know, again, if you've played any other Zelda game, you kind of know how these 2D ones go. Even the 3Ds, really.
Yeah, there's a format. There's a format.
Yeah, you do 3 dungeons, and then something happens, and then your quest changes, and then other things start happening.
Yeah, and that's exactly
that's a basic Zelda thing. I was fairly certain that's probably what happens in this game too. Which I want to get through this dungeon so I can see what happens, because I feel like at that point I'm gonna get even more excited.
Yeah, but just quickly again, I won't spoil the outfit specifically, but the outfit is. I've just recently taken it off. I wore that outfit since I got it. I wore it for like 3 or 4 hours of gameplay straight. It was just so damn cute. It's useful as well. If you know what I'm talking about, it's in.
Is it in trailers?
No.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
No, it's not in trailers. Not trailers I've seen. It's really freaking cute. Like, God, I can't
wait for that. I'm probably gonna play more. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I really want to
talk about it.
I'm gonna play more tonight. That's what I'm doing tonight.
It's not a story spoiler. It's nothing. It's just like once you see it, it's so cute. You're just happy. And
yeah, my Switch is in my bed. As soon as I'm done down here, that's where I'm going, and I'm gonna play.
I will tell you this:
as I can until I fall asleep.
The outfits you get, they're not necessarily just like things you'd expect. Like of course, you're gonna be able to wear Zelda's tunic again. Of course.
Yeah, and then you see in the trailer, you get like the Gerudo
Yeah, I don't have that
too.
one yet. I only have that one.
That's in the trailer. I mean, that's in the trailer.
Yes.
That's not a spoiler.
But yeah, it's adorable. I can't wait to talk about it with you. And the rest of you guys. We'll do that in the members pod at some point.
Yeah, we'll do a spoiler. I'm
so
sure,
those are accessories and outfits and all that. We talked about the mechanics as far as your tri-rod, spinning around, sword fighter mode.
God, we've done a lot of this list.
Oh yeah,
dungeons covered.
Dungeons, we've covered a lot of dungeons here.
Dungeons covered it.
Still World covered. We've done that.
Mini dungeons covered it.
We have
random dungeons.
Random dungeons you find in the world. Drip, you haven't found too many yet, but like you're just walking around.
I found like one or two.
Yeah, you're walking around the overworld and you see a hole in the wall, and whether or not like some of them have bombable walls that you need to be able to get bombs to get, or you just walk through them. They're just open. Now, and those are the ones we're talking about now. The ones that are just there in the overworld that you just walk through.
And see, now I feel like these are. I wouldn't even really consider these dungeons because these are kind of in other Zelda 2D games too, like bombable holes. You go in and do a little thing.
Dungeons, because some of them are longer than others. Some of them are like one room, and there's.
I feel like these are more comparable to like the caves in Tears of the Kingdom.
I would agree. So like, but they vary though. Okay, and some caves also vary. Did you get that fly?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I didn't get it. No.
But so like some caves are bigger, some caves are smaller. In this game, these mini dungeons, we'll call them. Some of them are literally one room. There's a chest, which is like traditional Zelda. But some of them are like two rooms, and there's some monsters in your way. And after you get through the first room of monsters, there's another room of monsters with a couple puzzles, and you're done. Some of them are like, and some of them maybe have. Still, there's just, I don't think any of them are more than two rooms, but there's more puzzles than others. Some of them are more enemy focused, some are puzzle focused, some of them are just go get the thing. But either way, these are the mini dungeons that I was not expecting, and they're really cool. Like they're more than just a room with a chest. There are those too.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that it's not just a room with a chest, because that's old 2D Zelda. There's a lot of those. Just even 3D Zelda. There's some of those where you just get into open a hole and suddenly there's a chest. This is not.
God, that's still in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that's not this. This is like you walk through or you blast through, and there are a couple steps, and there are puzzles, and there are enemies at the most.
Yeah,
which is I like that a lot.
I mean, this game has a lot to offer, and I know. I think it was Joey was one of the people asking, like, should this be my first Zelda? I think this is a great first Zelda game.
Yes,
it's got lots of stuff. Even though you don't play as Link, like. Man, it's got a lot of stuff.
Like I'm already picturing a video in my head I'm gonna make for my channel. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is gonna be your first Zelda game, or why Echoes of Wisdom should be your first Zelda game, like stuff like that. Like all the things we're talking about in this episode apply. It's a good first Zelda game for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some random dungeons. There's lots of different variants of dungeons. Like I love that. Like, and dungeons might be a strong word for some of them, yes, but in this case, these are true dungeons, and I don't think you've discovered any of these yet. There's one. I won't say what and where, other than it's in the Zora area. Dude, if you're poking around the Zora area, you're gonna.
That's where I'm at right now.
You're gonna stumble upon something, and you're gonna think that it might be something. It could be nothing. It could just be lawn decoration. But it also
I know what you're talking about. I saw it on the map, but I have not gone over there yet. I saw it on the map.
But it could be a dungeon. And I'll just tell you that whatever this thing is, I'm not going to tell you what specifically, but this thing that I found, I thought it might be lawn ornament, and turns out it's a literal entire dungeon with like 8 rooms.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm going over there.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it doesn't give you a whole heart piece like a regular dungeon does. It just gives you a heart piece. A quarter of a heart.
A quarter heart. Yeah.
Which is a little bit disappointing because it's a full dungeon, but it only gives you a quarter heart, which is I was a little upset about that.
That's cool. But dude, think about this. What would you rather do? Yeah. Do a little mini dungeon, or go find a random room in a wall, bomb it, and go walk in and get a quarter heart. I would much rather the mini dungeon.
I call it a random dungeon because I've already called it something a mini dungeon. There's no ways to describe them. I'm just making up words, but in this case, we're calling them a random dungeon. But yeah, it's basically a full dungeon, just not, you wouldn't expect it. It's like you stumble upon a dungeon, which is different than all the other ways you do dungeons in this game.
Super cool. I mean, it is awesome. This game has a lot of stuff. That's the thing. It's packed with stuff. Yeah. There's so many things that like. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna move on, but I didn't want to stop you.
I mean, there's just a lot of things in this game. Like for a small 2D Zelda game, there's so much stuff packed in it. I haven't even opened up the whole map. I haven't seen half the map, I don't think.
Yeah.
The map's huge.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about that before I move on. Just map size. I've got 15 hours in, and I've done a lot more exploring as of late than story progression. I need to get back on some story progression, but I've done a lot more exploring recently. I've uncovered probably 85-90% of the map. The only part of the map I haven't really discovered too much yet is like the Farron area, which is where I need to go next. So I'm going to open the rest. I'm going to have like 100% of the map open pretty soon because that's the next area I need to go. And
so wait, time out. You went to the cold area?
No, I haven't.
You haven't been up there?
No, but that's part of the map I need to open up too. So maybe like
I want to go. I want to see what's up there.
I have like
man.
75 max% of the map open right now. But yeah, I've not been to the cold area yet.
I want to go up there. I want to see what's going on up there.
Yeah. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, map size. It's huge. It is early game. I wanted more, and that's only because I didn't explore more. Now that I've explored, like once you get off that linear path, which is cool that this game allows you just to kind of get off of the linear path and go on your own route. It's been a lot of fun just discovering a new map, a map we've never seen before. It's not a new coat of paint on Breath of the Wild. It's not a reused 2D map like A Link Between Worlds is.
Kind of. It's like that, but there's just stuff in between to make it.
If A Link Between Worlds, if A Link to the Past map, if that was a sponge and you dropped it in water and expanded, then yes, I would say it's a reused map. But it's not. Yeah. It's
got pieces of that map.
Yeah, I mean,
recognizable landmarks.
Hey, Drip, you know what? You know what we call this? It's called Hyrule.
Yeah, I'm just saying things are in the same spots. Like,
yeah, but it's Hyrule. And guess what? The castle
and there's
is
Easter
in the
eggs.
center.
There's
it's Hyrule.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay, but there's tons of Easter eggs and stuff directly from Link to the Past. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but there are Easter eggs directly from Link to the Past. Like, you look at it, you're like, holy crap, that's cool to see that same exact thing in a different art style. But that's awesome.
But this is not a reused map by any means. It might be
no. It has pieces that are familiar. Yeah, it has pieces that are familiar, but there are so much more between those places where they used to connect. There's so much more there. This map is. Yeah, I mean there wasn't a ranch on that map. There's a freaking ranch.
You've taken a small quilt and weaved in the middle of the quilt, and you've cut the quilt and you've weaved in an entire bed comforter.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. That's for sure.
Yeah, the map's great. Map is really great. It is. It goes with exploration. It's a fun map to explore, especially because you can kind of do whatever you want. Especially as you get more and more echoes, you can go wherever you want. Really, there's no real limits to where you can go. Just very few. At this point, for me, very few places I can't go if I
feel like I can go anywhere I want. Now that I got that spider that takes me up the wall, I can really do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, that's true. Basically, the spider really does do whatever you want.
Limitless at this point. I can go wherever.
Yes.
I think I'll take you up the walls, down the walls, over the walls, wherever you need to go.
Yeah. So we're going to finish on a bit of a bad note.
Yeah.
Because as much as we love this game, and we do both love it, there's still much more to go. We're not going to conveniently forget the very bad parts about this game.
Which one do you want to start with? The worst one or the bad one?
I'm going to start with the worst one because we just got to talk about it. So I argued with Johnny about this on his show a week and a half. Johnny Cheesy, the Communication Error podcast. I argued with Johnny about this because he was saying Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the performance is trash, quote unquote. I'm quoting him. He said those games were trash, and I asked him. He is on one, isn't he? I asked him if those are trash. Like, what is the really bad? The games that are really bad. Like, what do you like? If you can't say those games are trash because you're leaving. There's no more floor. The floor is trash. The worst of the worst is trash. And by the way, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild can perform way differently than a Link's Awakening remake on Switch because he said Link's Awakening remake also runs like trash. And I'm like, guy, does it have frame stutters when you're moving from area to area and very minor hiccups throughout the world? Yes.
doesn't have a lot of hiccups throughout the world. It's mostly just
right. There
when
are
the
some.
camera
I'm
moves,
just trying to be
that's
fair.
when it- yeah.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Okay,
There are
okay,
some
okay.
hiccups around the world, and when you transition, there's always a hiccup. So yes,
Come and get it.
come and get it, bitch. To say that it runs like trash is a travesty. Tears of the Kingdom runs worse than Breath of the Wild, but you can't say they both run Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. You can't say they both run equally bad. They're different levels. And overall, Breath of the Wild is solid. Very solid performance-wise.
Yeah, except for a few spots.
It's a
yeah.
lock 30
It wasn't
with
when
few
it came out,
exceptions.
though. It was not when it came out. They fixed that. But
I understand that now. As you guys have told me, I didn't play at the beginning, but yeah. The finished product, now that it's fully updated, it's very solid. Tears of the Kingdom, not so much. It's a little bit mixed performance-wise. I would say it's mixed. I wouldn't say it's trash like Johnny would.
it's got some issues,
I would
though.
say it's got issues. It's mixed. For the most part, less than Breath of the Wild, but for the most part, it runs like 30. And there's lots of dips. Lots of dips. Breath of the Wild, very few dips. Just a couple areas here and there, like the forest, where it falls very low. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going to Echoes of Wisdom now. This is the worst by far. I mean, it's not even close. Like,
It's bad.
It is
bad.
I question how Nintendo Quality Control passed this.
Yeah, and let me just, this. I've said this. I've talked about this a lot. I'm not somebody who's like a really even bad frame rate and like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. If you wouldn't have told me, I probably would have never even noticed it because I don't pay attention to it that much.
Yeah.
But there are certain games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, watching you stream that, I'm like, I can't watch this. It hurts my eyes. Unfortunately, this game is the same way. I'm going to play it because I love Zelda and I want to play the game. But there's a lot of times in the overworld where I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
oh God,
So
it hurts.
let's talk the
Why is
frame
it doing that?
Let's talk about it because I don't have the tools to like put on the screen of my Switch or on the TV to like measure frame rate. I just go off my gut, my eyeball. I would love to see somebody actually show me data, what the frame rates are. Here's what I've observed. It is either running at 30 or 60. It seems like they've locked it to both. It's almost like when you enter an area, it triggers. The game, like developers made it so when it triggers at an area that has lots of stuff going on, it locks it to 30. And then when you leave that area of high density, it locks it back at 60. And the problem is that area of that moving from a 60 locked to a 30 lock, some places it does it in quick succession because as you're walking, things get more dense and less dense, and it makes that locking. It's as if on and off, 60-30,
Yeah.
60-30. And that's the experience people are experiencing where like it makes you can't look at the screen or dizzy. That's the experience what you're doing. That's
what's happening. It's like smooth, and all of a sudden it's like bam.
Yes, you're
and
experiencing.
It's like
like wiping your hand across the table, and there's some rough patches and soft patches, and you do it in a succession. And that's the visual, the visual analogy I'm trying to provide here. Just like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. Like, why is that some bumpy and some smooth? You know,
I don't. I hope they.
And some areas are like straight 30. Some areas are straight 30, and it never leaves. Like Hyrule Castletown. Okay, Castletown is just 30. It's like it's not even trying to go to 60. And they just lock it at 30 in that town. Once you leave the premises, it gets right back to 60.
Like, why not just lock the whole thing at 30?
That is a great
Like,
question.
we understand we're on the Switch. Like, we understand it.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like, why? Why are we trying to do this?
When it runs 60, it looks great.
Because you know what they could have done? God, like, this is just such a stupid thing. They could have done, again, 30 for the Switch. Switch 2 is going to be out. They could have done, an upgrade path for a Switch 2 version for whatever. Lock 60, 4K, whatever it's going to be. Now it's like, oh God, we just need to get it to run what it's supposed to run on the Switch 2. They could have had a whole version. Like, oh no, it's double the frame rate. It's 4K. Like, it looks great, runs great. And they could have had this one, probably looking better than it looks. Because even you said, we talked about this a little in the members podcast, it's a little jagged. It's not the prettiest That's the prettiest game out there.
No.
But the frame rate's
I will say this,
horrendous.
though. I said that early on. As I've played more, I've forgotten about it because the frame rate way overshadows.
Yeah, it's bad.
The bad
It's
textures.
very, very bad. I mean, this is, dare I say, it's not quite that bad, but I mean, we're talking annoying and visual levels at the same level of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
It's there. I mean, it's not that bad because that is down to like 15 frames. We're not getting into that territory.
That one gets sub 10, actually.
But just the fact of it changing back and forth so often the way it does, it's just jarring. It's just really hard to stay into what you're doing when it's just like, oh, God. And I'm sitting right here. This is probably a 32-inch TV, which is literally, that far. It's not far. It's probably 3 feet from my face, maybe.
Yeah.
It's way too big to be having that happen because I'm like, oh, God, stop doing that.
So we had a question in the chat here from Hari, a live question here. Are you guys playing on handheld? Docked, it's fine. Now, Hari says...
It is not fine.
I wouldn't say it's fine, Hari. I would say if you are not experiencing too much discomfort like Drip is, that's great. You know what? That means your experience is going to be better than Drip's. Drip's experience...
Maybe it's because I'm too close.
Maybe, but Drip's experiencing some discomfort, and I have not been experiencing discomfort. I've only tastefully discomforted. I'm just questioning how Nintendo let this pass through. It just makes sense. Now I would have complained if it was locked at 30. I wouldn't have complained about it hard, but I would have been like, hey, I wish that was 60. Nintendo, Link's Awakening was 60. Why can't this be 60?
The Switch.
We just had a good example of this, though. We had an example of where Nintendo made a choice, and that is a Thousand Year Door remake. That game's original game ran at 60, and the remake on Switch ran at 30. Now, the remake on Switch had a lot, and I mean a lot, of visual and texture upgrades that make that game look spectacular. It just doesn't run as smooth as the old game did. But the old game, very barren as far as textures. It was a Nintendo GameCube game, right?
Yeah.
This is a Switch game. They made the world look beautiful. Just ran at 30 because I'm sure it ran at 60 in places and didn't in others. And they just made a choice. Let's just keep it at 30. Makes that jarring not happen. I'm thinking because this was a game made by not Nintendo. It was made by Grezzo. They did a great job. No criticism of Grezzo. I don't think this is even Grezzo's fault. I think it's the Switch's fault. But I blame the QC people who allowed this to happen.
I did have something weird happen last night when I was streaming too. Hari also asked in the chat, are you guys experiencing glitches?
You just reminded me.
There was a whole point where I went and did a certain thing when I was out in the overworld and the music just stopped.
Thank you so much for reminding me.
It was just gone. It was just gone.
My Wednesday night live stream.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Where's my music?
I'm going to back you up here because my Wednesday night live stream, on release night, there's no patches yet as I know of. On that night.
This happened last night. So
on release night, I started counting after the second one happened because it was so weird. I counted 8 audio glitches in the first hour of gameplay. 8.
Yeah.
Audio glitches.
Here's the question.
This is where the audio is playing and just cuts and then comes back.
Are we going to get a patch? Will we get a patch? A performance patch?
That has to be patched. I actually request that be patched. The performance is one thing that they've made a choice now. They can't patch that. That's a choice they made in the game. It would take lots of money and lots of time to readjust the game to be a 30 game all the way through. They're not.
And at this point, it's like, who cares? Just work on the Switch 2 version.
Do that. But what they need to patch is the audio glitches because there was way too many, and that was basically tutorial area. Funny enough, though, have not had that since. Have not.
I was just in the middle of like the overworld, and this music just stopped. I was like,
yeah, that's why I forgot. That's why I forgot about this point because I have not experienced an audio glitch since. It was just in the first hour of gameplay, and some of that was the overworld, but it was mostly the beginning, the tutorial. Right, the tutorial had 8 audio glitches. And they were bad audio glitches, like really ruined immersion. And when you cut, and the tutorial also had, the whole game has frame rate issues, including the tutorial. So when you're experiencing the frame rate issues and the glitches, Grezzo is not a good look for Grezzo. Not a good look for Grezzo. Worse for Nintendo. Really questionable that they let this go through. And before we wrap up this show, there's one more very questionable thing we need to talk about regarding things that they let this pass through quality control, and that is the menu system.
Come on now.
That is the menu system. How did they think that was a good idea to have, there's 120 echoes in the game, 120, and they thought it would be a good idea to have 120 echoes scroll in a straight line exclusively when you can only see about 8 of them on the screen at once.
It's not a good idea.
It's an awful idea. Who thought that'd be a good idea?
Customizable menus for them would fix this. That's the answer.
Yep, I agree.
That's the answer. The answer is customizable menus. Something that you can be like, all right, here are my top 10 that I use all the time. Have a top 10, like whatever, bam, on the screen. Tick, 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 right over to this one. And then have, press the button for whatever custom menu you want, These are my non-monster things I use. These are my monster things I use. These are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you could at least have those types of, one line. I mean, it's brutal. And I don't even have that many yet. There's 126?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Can you imagine when you have 126 of those things, what that's going to be like?
I'm going to count mine and let you guys know next week how many I have.
I mean, I have a good bit, but it's not,
I think I have
I probably have 20, 30.
I think I have about 60, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. It could be closer to 40. I don't know. I have at most, I have half of them. And it is a burden.
It's already, even the ones I have, it's like, it's starting to get.
Because I'm in battle, right? My 100 ideas bouncing around in my head, right? So I'm in battle. I'm like, oh, I need a bat right here. So let me go find my bat. You can sort. You can press Y, and it sorts from type of item and there's like 3 things you can sort from. It still just sorts them in a straight line, and it's not overly helpful. I find 2 things helpful. I find type helpful because mostly I'm looking for my bed. And if I do by type,
last used,
if I do by type,
most used,
right? If I do by type, I can see my bed pretty quickly because it's like the first thing. And then, like you said, last used, most used, whatever it's called.
But those are 2 different things. You can do the ones you use most, I think.
So maybe there's 3. Those 3 are helpful. Whatever one, either last used or most used. Those are helpful too because it's either I used it recently, I want to use it again.
Or no, it's not last used, or maybe it is last used.
Maybe
that's the menu, and then there's the ones that you last got.
Correct. Last echoes you received, like last echoes you echoed, or last things that you've
127,
used.
Not 126. My bad.
Yeah, those are 2 big gripes.
Those are the only gripes I have with the game.
Yeah, but they're massive.
They are, dude. And I know the menu system's not going to be fixed, but they have got to do something about the glitch. Yeah, the audio glitches, the frame rate's got to be addressed a little bit.
Yeah, they're like the Castletown needs to run better.
Yeah, I mean, or just lock it down at 30. Who cares? Just lock it down at 30.
I think
call it a day. Wave the fucking white flag and lock that thing down at 30.
I think that they're too far gone for that. That's not something.
Probably, yeah.
That's not something
they're not going to go backwards
now. As much as I kind of agree with you there, that we can't make that choice anymore. That one's passed.
No, I know.
This is what we got. All we can ask for now is that it's not as jarring and juddery. Switching from 30-60, 30-60. Yeah. So I thought there was like one more thing I wanted to add. I guess if you guys have anything you guys want to add. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, obviously live chat, you can just tell us right now. We'll talk about the after show. If you're watching on YouTube as a video, you can just leave a comment down below. Or if you're watching the live stream after whatever YouTube, you can leave a comment. I want to remind you guys that if you're listening on audio, especially on Spotify, there is a way on Spotify you guys can literally write us a comment on your phone. If you're driving, pull over, or when you get to work or whatever, that's when you can do that. Or if you're at a safe place, you can literally, if you're listening on Spotify. Or if you're listening somewhere else, you can go to Spotify and leave us a comment. And that is a thing you can do. I can see comments on my phone. So if you guys leave us a comment on Spotify, I can read that. So make sure to do that if you're listening and you want to give us your input. I will read those. The best place to do that, though, to leave us a comment outside of YouTube comments, because those are very easy to me to see as well, is our new Discord server. If you guys are not in our Discord server, please get in there. There's a Q&A section where you can leave us literal questions. There are lots of different rooms you guys can interact with, including if you're a member of this show. If you connect your YouTube account to your Discord, there's a whole extra area for you guys to hang out as members. I didn't look up any particular questions this week. I know I said I was going to start doing that, and I forgot. Next week, I'll start actually introducing, because we have a few already. I'm going to start introducing some podcast Q&As into the actual episodes themselves. So again, if you're listening to audio things, you can also leave us questions. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys. Drip,
Yes.
we have our giveaway has kind of been on hiatus because of the person who won but didn't win. So I think at this point, Drip, you want to just give away something. The last episode of the year. We'll re-give that away for the last episode of the year.
Yeah. Also, I have one of those tiny controllers we need to give away too. This podcast.
I've been waiting for you to kind of introduce that because that's your thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I need to pick the other two winners too because I got to get those shipped out.
Yeah.
Also, plug in my own channel, but I'm going to be giving away a whole year of Nintendo Switch online and an expansion pack because I got it free with my Switch. I don't need it. So I'm going to give it away.
That's cool.
Full year.
It's on Drip's YouTube channel. So that link is down in the description of your podcast feed as well as YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Actually, we gotta revisit Switch Online.
Yeah,
we're coming up to that time again. We got to see if it's
see if
it's worth it.
If you guys want to win something from us, it's gonna be a podcast review. If you want to win that controller, it's gonna be a person in our Discord. I'm making that for you. So if you want to win that controller, you got to be on our Discord. Get in our Discord. A random person will be selected from our Discord to win the controller. So make sure to drop in our Discord. Link is down below. If you want to win,
come and get it.
Win that $50 eShop gift card. Of course, that is going to be through YouTube. I'm sorry, that's going to be through Apple Podcasts 5-star reviews. Leave us a 5-star review.
Come and get
that
it.
person will win their $50 eShop gift card. I said the end of the year, but I just made that up. When do you want to do that? Do you want to just? Can we do that next week?
How about this? How about we talk about it?
Yeah,
and then we'll figure it out.
It was going to be a few weeks ago, guys. We're not like holding it. We're not holding back intentionally. Someone already won. They just never received it, or they never claimed it. I mean, so that's on you guys, not on us.
We'll talk about.
We'll talk about when we're going to re-give it away. But again, you've already left 5-star review. You are qualified. No matter when you left it, you're qualified to enter.
Come and get it.
And if you want to win Drip's controller, we've got lots of things we're giving away right now. If you want to win Drip's controller, it's going to be in his YouTube comments. So go over to his video on his channel, which is linked down below. Leave a comment on what color you want. Drip. We're going to sign off for now. If you're in the live stream, we're going to sign off for now. I'm sorry. If we're in the live stream, we're going to see you guys in a second in the after show. If you guys are hanging out on the audio feed or on YouTube, we're going to see you guys next week.
Later.